Hey guys, so today we're going to continue our work with solving multi-step equations. The difference you'll see today is we will have variables on both sides. So if you haven't already, pause the video and write your 3 steps to solving multi-step equations. So let's take a look at the first example. So in the first example, we have 2x equals 8x minus 18. Split your equation at the equal sign. So I'm just going to talk through the steps like normal. First, do I see the distributive property? I don't. Second, do I see like terms on each side? There are no like terms on the left or the right. So now I'm going to move on to the third step, which is to isolate the variable, first by adding or subtracting and then by multiplying or dividing. Well, in this case, I notice there are variables on both sides. So to move that across, we either have to add or subtract. I personally like my letters on the left. It's just cleaner to me, so that's what you'll see me do. Other teachers do other things, but I like my letters on the left. So the opposite of plus 8x is to subtract 8x from both sides. And when I do that, 2x minus 8x is negative 6x equals negative 18. Now I have all of my variables on one side. I do still notice that there's a number with the variable, so I still have a little bit of work to do. The opposite of times negative 6 is to divide both sides by negative 6. And when I do that, I get x equals positive 3. So now my variable is isolated and I have my solution, which is 3. So let's take a look at example 2. I have 7 minus 6x equals 5x plus 29. Split your equation at the equal sign just to keep things organized. First, I ask, do I have the distributive property? And no, I don't. Next, do I have like terms on either side? I don't see like terms on the left or on the right. So now I'm at the third step, isolating the variable. But again, I notice there are variables on both sides. So I'm going to start by moving all my letters or my variables to the left. So the opposite, I'm going to move this 5x over with this negative 6x. So the opposite of 5x is minus 5x. And that gives me 7, bring down your 7. Negative 6x minus 5x is negative 11x equals 29. And now I can continue isolating my variable by adding or subtracting first. So here's my letter, my variable. The opposite of plus 7 is to subtract 7 from both sides. So I'm left with negative 11x equals, and 29 minus 7 is 22. I still have a number with my variable, so I isolate by doing the inverse. The inverse of times negative 3 is divided by times negative 11 is to divide by negative 11. So x equals 22 divided by negative 11 is negative 2. So negative 2 makes this equation true. Take a look at number 3. I have 12 times x plus 5 equals 13x plus 2. I'm going to split my equation at the equal sign. First, I look for that distributive property, and I see it right here. Remember, we bring everything else down so we don't forget anything. So 12 times 1x is 12x. 12 times 5 is positive 60. Next step, do I see like terms on either side? Not in this situation, I don't. So now I'm going to move on to my third step, which is to isolate the variable with inverse operations. So let's deal with our letters or our variables first. I like to do that first. So I'm going to move that 13x over. So I'm going to subtract 13x from both sides, and I get negative 1x plus 60 equals 2. I still see some stuff hanging on to that letter, so I've got a little bit more of our inverse operations to do. Got to move some more stuff. So the opposite of plus 60 is to subtract 60 from both sides. So I've got negative 1x equals 2 minus 60 is negative 58. There's still a number over there with that variable, so I still have more work to do. The opposite of times negative 1 is to divide both sides by negative 1. So x equals negative 58 divided by negative 1 is positive 58. So 58 makes this equation true. Let's try one more together, guys. So I've got 6 times x minus 1 equals 9 times x minus 4. Split it at the equal sign. What do you notice here? Well, I notice I have the distributive property on both sides. So it doesn't matter which one you do first. I usually work left to right. So 6 times 1x is 6x. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. 9 times 1x is 9x. And 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. Next, do I have any like terms on either side? No, I don't. 6x minus 6, not the same. 9x minus 36, not the same. So I move on to isolate my variables. So I'm going to move this 9x over with the 6x. I like my letters on the left. So minus 9x minus 9x. 6x minus 9x is negative 3x. Bring down your minus 6 equals and negative 36. I see the variable still has numbers, so is there anything else I can add or subtract? Yes, I can add 6 to both sides. So I get negative 3x equals negative 30. And to get that negative 3 off of there, the opposite of times negative 3 is to divide by negative 3. So x equals, same sign's positive, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So the solution to this equation is 10.